What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning over there.
How you doing? What is your short pistol? Boy, I love the pistol. Them old new bad boy pistols 3. Bad and boy good.
Riled up.
All I know is I promise this is the last day you have to talk about the true GOAT, Tom Brady, at least until tomorrow.
I thought Jeremy Grant was the GOAT.
Yeah.
He didn't go no more?
Yeah, I have a feeling that
is that all you
our
got?
GOAT, Tom Brady, will be talked about today, tomorrow, the next day, and plenty more months ahead. We're going to begin the show, guys, by talking about some news coming out of Dallas, because Mavs owner Mark Cuban confirmed that he has directed the franchise to no longer play the national anthem before home games in Dallas this season. Despite never officially announcing the change in policy, the Mavericks haven't played the anthem in their 13 preseason and regular season games this year, and they also have no plans to resume the tradition in the future. Cuban consulted with Commissioner Adam Silver on the decision, and no players, coaches, or staffers have mentioned the change, according to a team source. So, Shannon, are you okay with Cuban's decision here?
I'm perfectly fine with the decision. And guess what, Skip? No one even noticed it till a reporter brought it to everyone's attention, and now everybody seemed to be outraged. Skip, we got to stop with this notion that gestures and symbols is a form of patriotism. Actions, deeds make you a patriot. Just because you fly the flag over your house doesn't make you a patriot. Just because you drink Budweiser doesn't make you a patriot. I'm sure those people that went up on January the 6th, Skip, on the Capitol, I'm sure they consider themselves patriots. And some of those guys were police officers, men and women. Some were in the military, men and women. That doesn't make you a patriot. Skip, guess what? When I was in school, and maybe when you were too, we used to say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. We used to say prayers every morning. They took that out of the school. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have school going on currently. Schools did just fine without the Pledge of Allegiance and without prayer in it. I think the sporting events will be just fine. I've never met anyone that says, man, I'm going to that sporting event. Once I hear the national anthem, I'm dipping. No. Skip it, look. And plus the anthem, what we found out, we've become a lot more politicized, and it's no more, you choose a side here or there. There's no more straddling the fence. Skip, the anthem, over the last 4 or 5 years, we see that it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. And some people, it's their ethos. It's their code. They believe in it. And some people like, nah, after listening to it and the guy that wrote it and what he was writing it for, nah, I want no part of that. And that's okay, Skip. We got to stop thinking, well, they play at all sporting events. Casual Friday is not the law of the land. It's up to your employer, Skip. If he says, I want you in a shirt and tie, or I want you in a nice outfit for the women, guess what? You better not show up there with an unbuttoned shirt and some khakis on. Yeah. So the national anthem is not the law of the land. And I love that Adam Silver left it up to Mark Cuban. He says, if you want to play it, play it. If you don't want to play it, play it. It is not the law of the land of a sporting event. It should be left up to the franchise to say we want to or we do not want to. But I do not have a problem with it. Mark Cuban he's very looking. The one thing I know after following Mark Cuban, Skip, I've never met him, but following him on social media and listening to him talk on a lot of talk shows, he's very thoughtful. This was no I'm just taking this out. He put a lot of thought into this decision. And for me, now, it's going to be very interesting to see, Skip, when you start to get back to capacity and they don't have, it's not the national anthem. I mean, it's no big deal now, Skip. I mean, I'm sure people want to have things to complain about. But when you don't really have, the only thing you have is like front office people and the teams in the building. Once you start getting 15, 20,000 fans, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But I do not have a problem with Mark Cuban or any franchise not playing the national anthem at the start of a game.
Okay. I do have strictly a personal problem. This is just my 2 cents from a distance about that tradition before games.
Okay.
My first issue is with Mark Cuban himself.
Okay.
I never quite trust Mark Cuban's public stances because, to me, again, my 2 cents from a distance, and I've had my dealings and my issues with Mark Cuban, he is an egomaniac addicted to attention. And he knows full well this will create a firestorm of national controversy that will surround Mark Cuban with more and more attention.
Okay.
And by the way, just for the record, I have issued an open invitation to Mark to come sit here. Obviously, we can't have him in studio at this moment, to come virtually on the show anytime. Wide open, and I have not heard back from Mark Cuban about that open invitation. It seems to me that Mark Cuban got caught in a crossfire between his players who wanted to kneel for the anthem, great, and probably some of his sponsors who are still a little squeamish about players kneeling for the anthem.
Correct.
He is in the state of Texas. It is more of a right-wing state, as you well know.
Of course.
And obviously, you can't win that. You can't make everybody happy with how they respond to the anthem.
Correct.
And to me, he finally said, okay, I give up. I'll just do away with the anthem before our games, before our home games.
We don't have to worry about kneeling.
Okay? You just take it out of play.
Right.
To me, it's a trial balloon to see how both sides respond, or the world in general, the country in general responds. And he did later last night email the Washington Post that that the Athletics initial report is not accurate, that it's not a done deal yet, that he's still thinking about whether to sustain this principle of this position of no anthem.
Right.
So it's still not finished yet.
Right. Pending.
Okay. Just for the record, I go back to my days in Dallas. Donald Carter originally bought the Mavericks when they were an expansion team, and he was definitely right-wing Christian, and he wanted to go with God Bless America before every game in place of the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. So for the first 16 years of the franchise, they went with God Bless America. Now back to your prayer in public school, okay, which was finally said, people said no. Okay. So that went on for 16 years until H. Ross Perot, you remember Ross Perot?
I do remember president.
Yes. Bought the team, and for the next 4 years, he went back to the Star Spangled Banner. And then Mark Cuban took over in 2000 and continued with the tradition, obviously, the Star Spangled Banner. Okay, now this is just, again, me personally, playing that song before any sports event became, for years and years, decades and decades, centuries, a backbone tradition of this country. It was a uniting bond for a country that, as I've said to you 1,000 times on the show, we still have deep problems, obviously, especially when it comes to racial justice facing this country. But I do still believe it's the greatest country in the world. That's just me.
Yeah.
You can choose to look at it however you want to look at it. But to me, it's still a uniting bond for this country to stand before every sporting event and respond to that anthem however you feel like it. If you want to put your hand over your heart, good with that. If you want to kneel, great with that. But it is our uniting bond, and I hate to lose that tradition across the board.
I wouldn't.
Okay, I got it. I understand. This is my 2 cents, because that's just how I still love my country for all its faults. I got all the faults, and we've talked at length on this show about the faults. And the worst fault is racial justice. But to me, it is not Mark Cuban's right, just as the king of his little maverick kingdom, to say, well, I take it away. Because it's a national right that we do this before every sporting event. And I know some people would say, well, why don't we just reserve it for the biggest events, the Super Bowl or the World Series or Daytona 500, whatever, well, then how do you pick and choose? I don't know what qualifies and what doesn't.
I love the fact that they started playing this in the 20s. I think they started playing it in the 20s at baseball games while blacks were being discriminated against and couldn't play that sport.
No doubt.
But they played it, but it was a representation of America. While blacks could not play a sport, you felt very comfortable with the representation. Skip, and I got again. And I understand what you're saying is that it's been done for so long. Let's just continue the tradition. But there are a lot of traditions that needed to be done away with, and we've done away with some, and we need to do away with some others. But that flag is not a true representation of America. And you're right, America is a great country. But the fact that America will not acknowledge its flaws, that's the problem that a lot of black America and minorities have with America, is that you won't even acknowledge it. All you saying is just like what's going on right now. Let's give President Trump a mulligan. Well, give America a mulligan. Okay, we gave you a mulligan and you still haven't changed it.
No.
You keep telling us all lives matter. And when people say all lives matter, tell me the year, tell me the date, tell me the month. Since 1619 that all lives matter. Because if all lives matter, there would have been no black slaves. There would have been no slaves. If all lives matter, they wouldn't have done what they done to the Native Americans. If all lives matter, there would have been no Asian concentration camps during World War II. So don't tell me all lives matter when since 1619 it's never been all lives matter. It's only been one life that mattered.
Agreed. I still think we have the greatest country in the world, despite all you said. You're so dead on right. It's horrifying to me, everything you just said. I have zero issue with everything you just said, but we can't give up the fact that we still have a pretty great place to live despite its faults.
But think about this, Skip. America is the only country, is the only thing that says, okay, we're great, we're the best place in the world. Be content with that. They didn't do that with medicine. They got better and better with medicine. Medicine has gotten better from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s. But only America gets to say, but we are the greatest country in the world with all her flaws. Let's stand pat because we're so great. No! Why can't we improve like we improved on everything? From the automobile to the refrigerator to the microwave. We tried to improve it. But only America wants to stand pat. Why? Because white America has been in power for 400 plus years and they don't want the changing of the demographics. It's never been about anything else other than that, Skip. They keep talking about economics. There's no economic anxiety. It's racial anxiety.
I'm just going with my deepest instinct. And if you do away with the national anthem being played before every sports event across the board, it feels like the first sign that Rome is falling. That's how it feels to me.
Well, that felt like that January 6th when I was watching the TV. I felt like Rome was falling. But Skip, think about it. Mississippi, when they wave the rebel flag, and every time they come out there for a football game, they says, how can we play a football game if we don't play that rebel flag? Wave the flag. They said the exact same thing with NASCAR, and they still running around the track. Going left, making all them left turns. Ain't nothing changed.
Okay. So what would you have us do? Disband as a country? Where do you want to go? Where are you heading with this?
Skip, so the Pledge of Allegiance is what the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner is what binds us.
It's a backbone tradition of this country. At some point, you don't want us to just come completely apart, Skip, right?
A backbone of a country that was founded under a principle that kept a certain demographic of people oppressed.
I thought our new theme was to reunite, right?
See, it's always okay. We're gonna reunite. No, Skip. We want everybody. President Biden ain't trying to unite the Republican and the Democratic Party. He's trying to unite America. Well, if one side of America, you got off to a bad start on January the 6th. You got up to a bad start when you lost the election, and you did everything you could to try to deny the man he won a fair and fair election. So where were we uniting then? Now that we have a situation, Skip, that we're trying to get, the demographics are changing, Skip. There's brown and black people are becoming more prominent. They're becoming a bigger minority in America. Women want equal rights. LGBTQ want bigger rights. You cannot stand pat and say, well, this is the way it was 30 years ago. This is the way it was 50 years ago. And think that everything is changing. People are going to be okay with that because they're not.
Okay, back to Mark Cuban. You realize that just 4 years ago, he was on President Trump's side.
Yeah.
He stood with President Trump on how that you will stand for the national anthem.
I think the thing is that once he saw, sometimes, Skip, I've had my issue with Mark Cuban also. We had a couple of little Twitter beats kept going back and forth with the hoodie thing. And he said if he saw somebody walking towards him with a hoodie, he'd cross the street too. I said, hell, Sean Marion, half your guys wear hoodies. Half your NBA players. You see them, you crossing the street, you know them. They're black NBA players, so you're not afraid of them.
Yep.
See, you're perpetuating what we're trying to disband. Skip, I just think the thing is that I don't have a problem with it. I think, a business is not a publicly held company. So Mark Cuban gets to set the rules.
He can. He is the king of that kingdom. I agree.
Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. If he wants to play it, but the players shouldn't be forced. If you want to stay in the locker room while they're playing that, have at it. Okay.
So in the end, I think Mark Cuban will win either way because Mark Cuban's going to be in the spotlight for the next at least 24 hours, if not the rest of this week.
So we talking about the national anthem, not how bad the basketball team has been playing thus far this year?
That's a good point also. A very good point.
Yeah, but it's just, we know there's certain things in America that is gonna be very, very politicized. And this is going to be a trending topic for the next couple of days because, as you said, there's so many people that love this anthem, and there's so many people that, as they start to understand and see what America has been over the last couple of years, and it's been like that. I think the cell phone has captured a lot of things that's going on, Skip. I mean, don't think America just all of a sudden over the last 4 years become racist. That's not the case. It's been that way. But
I do think we have made some progress in white America being enlightened as to why the black players, starting with Colin Kaepernick, were kneeling in the first place. I think that got completely lost 2016, 2017, 2018, and then slowly but surely through the last year or so, I believe, and this is just strictly my view from a distance, that a good portion of white America came around to say, okay, I get that.
Yeah, they get
you have the right to do that. You're justified in doing that.
And what I also saw with a lot of white America, I get that, but I ain't ready for it. I don't want that change. Skip, Colin Kaepernick told you what he was doing. Skip, if you go to someone's house and they tell you, well, this is chicken and this is turkey, this is fish, and all of a sudden you choose to say, nah, that's lamb, that's venison, that's duck. They told you what it was. You chose to call it something else to make it more palatable to you. Your stance is where you are. So you're like, yeah, I get it, but I believe you should stand for the flag. Even though he told you why he wasn't standing, that still wasn't good enough for you.
Okay. So it will be very interesting to see what happens in the next 24 hours to see if Mark Cuban is influenced one way or the other by the public reaction to this.
I think he's going to have to take a couple of days, Skip, because he's going to say, oh, see, you just wishy-washy. You wasn't true to it. He's going to have to, he's going to have to wait this one out for a little while, Skip, to see which way the pendulum swings.
I'm also curious how other teams will react to this news. If other teams will want to do the same, if the public will have a lot to say, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, guys.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy. Rumors are starting to swirl that Russell Wilson may be unhappy with the Seahawks, and his comments yesterday just added more fuel to the fire. When asked if he was frustrated with Seattle, Wilson replied, "I'm frustrated with getting hit too much," and also added, "I've been sacked almost 400 times. We've got to get better." Wilson also said he'd like more input on personnel decisions, and when asked if he thought the Seahawks would be open to trading him, he responded with, "That's a Seahawks question." Wow, Shannon, lots there. Do you like him calling out his team?
Skip, I don't have a problem with it. It seems to me this is the frustration had been there for a while, and it bubbled up. You know, Russ has what we call an implosive personality, Skip.
Yep.
He holds everything in. He just holds it in, just holds it in. And when it blows, it blows. And what you saw yesterday was him, this frustration spilling out, Skip. Look, he's unhappy that for the longest time, this has been a team coached by a defensive-minded guy, that the emphasis has been defense. And although they've gotten him some receivers now, they've neglected the most important thing to a quarterback, which is the offensive line. He saw Patrick Mahomes went through the Super Bowl. He said, hell, I go through that every week. He's talking about Patrick only had to do that one time. Just imagine me going through it. He's been sacked 394 times, Skip, almost 400 times.
Yep.
Tom Brady in 21 seasons has been sacked 500 times.
Yep.
Russell wants to play long until his late 30s, early 40s, like Tom. He ain't gonna make it like that. The reason why you see guys like Peyton Manning play 18 years, you see Tom Brady play 21 years, you see Drew Brees play all these years, is because they didn't take that kind of pounding. You're not taking that kind of pounding and playing until your 40s. That's not gonna happen. And he understands that. So and the difference between when a quarterback speaks and any other player in NFL, Skip, is that they guys have the leverage, especially guys like Russ. When Russ talk, they're going to listen. When Aaron Rodgers talk, they're going to listen. Mahomes or some of these top 5, top 10 quarterbacks talk, the organization has no choice but to listen. Because if you don't have that guy, I don't give a damn what else you have. You could have the 3 of the best defensive players ever. You could have 3 of the best offensive players. But if they want to make one of that guy, you kiss the baby on that one, Skip.
Correct.
So he's frustrated. And he said, hold on, Pete. You know, you keep on talking about this defense and this mentality, and he's not happy. And for him to say, well, Russ, you know, you think they're trading, that's a Seahawks question.
Yep.
It appears to me, Skip, it might have got back to Russ that teams have been calling, asking about him.
Maybe.
And he's like, well, that's something you need to ask the Seahawks about because that's out of my control. But you can tell he's frustrated. And Skip, I'm not saying that he need to have input on everything, but run by, hey, Russ, what you think about, you know, we're thinking about getting this guy. Especially if it's an offensive guy, offensive lineman, maybe you need a tight end. You got the receivers, you got Metcalf, you got Lockett, I forget the other guy's name, but you got some good receivers. You need a tight end now. Your running backs can't stay healthy for whatever reason, and your offensive line has been trashed for a minute. So Pete, now he growled. He growls, Skip, to let you know, normally when an animal growls, he tell you that there's something unpleasant about this situation. Don't make him bite you, Pete, and do what Deshaun's doing to the Houston Texans.
Okay.
Hear it.
Okay. My first reaction to everything that spilled out of Russ yesterday was, this is the Brady effect. We might have more quarterbacks on the move this offseason, more unhappy quarterbacks than ever before in the history of this league, in part because they saw Tom Brady either get pushed out the back door or decide, I've had enough of this. And at age 43 say, I pick you. Oh, well, they're kind of a sleeping giant because they got a lot of talent there. They went 7-9, but they were in need of a quarterback and a leader. And guess what? Magic happened, and they went and won the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
And Russell did say that he saw a picture of himself and his wife and Roger Goodell at the Super Bowl. The wife and Roger were talking. They're talking, but he said, I'm sitting there, to quote him, I'm pissed off because I'm having to watch a game wishing I was in there playing. Well, he's seeing Tom Brady get protected. He got sacked once, hit twice in the game. And he's getting rid of the ball quickly, and great things are happening. And he's saying, God, I've been there before because I was there twice. He lost one to Brady, but he won one in an avalanche against Peyton Manning. So he knows what it feels like to win the ultimate game. But it's been a minute ago since he won it, right? Okay. Here's my issue with him spilling publicly. I don't believe that's what a leader needs to do. And I have the utmost respect for him. And you're right. This is
built up.
It's building, and it just exploded.
Right.
And it issued forth on every level. And yet, be careful, because you do live in some glass house, because you weren't very good over the back half of the year either.
Well, Skip, a lot of those sacks, Russ, if you look at, when you go back and look at history.
You said this on the show 100 times.
He runs himself
into sacks.
Yes. And most mobile quarterbacks do that a lot.
Okay. So you have to be careful, because when you say, gee, I'm getting hit too much, you're basically throwing the line under the bus.
Right.
You can say all you want about his line, but they did, just for the record. I don't disagree with your premise, but they went and got Dwayne Brown, who's really, he's a big timer,
Right.
a left tackle, who's a 4-time Pro Bowler. Is he kind of at the backside of his career?
I think he's like 35, 34, 35 now.
But they did draft that kid, Damian Lewis, in the 3rd round a year ago, and he made the all-rookie team. Pro Football Writers Association put him on as a, what is he, the right guard or the left guard? Right guard. He's the right guard. Okay, so at least you got that going for you, and what's left of Dwayne Brown. But they did try. They went and got him,
we got
right?
Dwayne Brown, yes.
And that was a pretty big move, actually, for them. Okay, then he wants more input in decision-making. But by all accounts, he had huge input in the selection of Shane Waldron to be their new offensive coordinator.
Right.
Okay, so you got that going for you. And yet, let's look at what did you do over the back half. Let's go to the final 9 games of the year. Pro Football Focus, your favorite website, graded Russell's performance as the 19th best quarterback over the last 9 games. He wasn't that guy. Remember the top 100 before the year started? There was a big case being made.
He should have been number 1.
Is it him or who? I can't remember who was number 1. It wasn't Patrick. Was it Aaron or? No,
Aaron wasn't number 1. I forget who it was also, Skip.
I can't remember who was number 1, but somebody was. Oh, it was Lamar, because he was the MVP.
Yes.
Okay, so it was between Russell and Lamar, back and forth.
Right.
It's like 1 and 1A.
Right.
Well, he didn't play like 1A this year, because over those last 9 games, he was tied for 3rd in giveaways. He was turning the ball because he was trying to do too much.
And that's the problem, Skip. If you look at Tom, when they tried to force, and then Russ fell into this trap, deep, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, deep, everything deep.
Mm-hmm.
Take that underneath stuff.
Okay.
You know, there are fish at the shoreline, too. You don't have to go deep-sea fishing and catch a 100-pound fish
What
tuna
was the
every time.
runaway theme on social media, especially in Seahawks Nation? Pete Carroll's basically saying, okay, I'm going to let him cook. I'm going to let him cook. And
even after he was burning the dish, you still letting him cook.
He was burning a lot of dinners. Nice dinners. You gave him nice ingredients, and he just burned all the ingredients. Okay? So you have to be careful with throwing your whole team under the bus, because, you know, and he did say, I've got to play better too. But it sounds like they're more at fault than he is, and I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. I just don't see. It seems to me Russ want to get somewhere. You know, he has a entertainer wife, and I don't really know how much entertaining you can do up in Seattle. Would he like to be somewhere that, even though Washington is in this?
Would she like to be somewhere else? You better believe she would.
I mean, would she be better served in Dallas or better served in Miami
or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles is out of the question now. Now, see, the 49ers, which I know they're not trading him to the 49ers, but it seems to me that he's speaking, Skip. He's thought a lot about this. He's very unhappy with this situation. And, boy, these quarterbacks now, Skip, they've gotten bold. 5-10 years ago, wasn't nobody speaking out. Now, hell, everybody has something to say.
And everybody wants to go where the grass is greener.
Or where they think the grass is greener.
Where they think it's greener. And by the way, to sum this up on Russell, he did lose a home game to what was left of Jared Goff, because he was beat up and under fire on the hot seat. And remember, they started the other kid to start the game, and then he went down, and they lost 30-20 to the Rams at home. And Russell had a QBR of 17, that scale 0 to 100. He was 11 of 27. 11 of 27 for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, but a big interception, and he was sacked 5 times. Okay.
Russell has been sacked at least 40 times in 8 of his 9 seasons. Brady has been sacked 40 times, twice in his career, and the one time came in his rookie season.
Okay.
I mean, his first year starting.
Let
that sink in, Skip.
No, I got it, but does he run into some?
No. Russell,
Yes.
yeah. And that's what he's going to have to understand. Live to see another day, Russ. See the heroics that made us love Russ, the spinning, the improvisation. And you're going to take that shot, but you're going to throw the ball 20 yards downfield for a completion. Tom Brady ain't trying to do that. Tom Brady said, I know the journey's over for me right here.
Okay.
I'm going to live to see another day.
For Russell's, first 5 or 6 years as starter, was he not the best running quarterback in pro football?
Yeah.
Would he not gash you? Would he not torment a defense with his legs by running for yards?
But the thing that made him unique, Skip, he was not taking the shots once he ran and got outside of the pocket. No. He taking the shots inside the pocket because he's getting down. You're not going to get no shot at him once he gets outside the pocket. But it's when he's in the pocket, holding on to the ball, waiting till the very last second. Russ, you're going to have to get that type of heroism. Got to get that up, bud.
Well, he's taking a lot of wear and tear on that body. You know he has.
Yeah, he says, I spend $1 million a year. I got hyperbaric chambers, I got chefs, I got physios, I got all this.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Okay. So as his family starts to grow up and come of age, and his wife wants to do more and more in her entertainment field, he's going to be under more and more pressure to be more careful on the football field so that he can be a big part of his family going forward. Yes. Well, does he really want to do this until he's 43, 44, 45?
He can't, not taking this kind of skill. He got all those people. But what did the fairy tale, Humpty Dumpty, all the king, horsemen, and men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together.
Nope.
They keep breaking him up like that. All them physios, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, won't be able to keep him together.
Oof. Agreed.
Ooh, and when you think about, Russell Wilson, his 9-year career, has he ever been this outspoken? He's normally such a positive guy. You guys bring up the point that this is probably something that has been simmering for a while now. So interesting to hear those words from him. Let's talk about some quarterbacks from the Super Bowl, shall we? Patrick Mahomes was running for his life a bit during the Chiefs' Super Bowl loss to the Bucs, and something Tom Brady may have actually seen coming. In a joint interview with the two QBs several days before the game, Brady was asked about what part of Mahomes' game he'd like to steal. Take a listen.
I love how he drifts back in the pocket, takes it about 6 yards deep, and then draws back to about 19, 20 yards, probably 15 yards, right foot in the ground, and then flicks that ball, 60 yards down the field and on a dime to Tyreek or something like that. So he just has a great awareness of the pocket, incredible vision of the field. He knows exactly when to get rid of the ball.
Shannon, was Brady complimenting your guy or critiquing Mahomes?
Skip, is really hard to tell because Brady is so scripted. So many of what comes out of his mouth is cliche-ish. So it's really hard to tell. But I mean, I can understand because I can assure you, when guys, running backs, was watching Barry, they wish they had the improvisational skills that Barry had.
Yep.
But they knew ultimately that would sometimes get him in trouble.
Yep.
And in a situation like this, I mean, it seems like Brady was prophetic in how this game was
going to seem that way.
Well, it was going to play out because he was sure drifted 15, 20, and trying to flick the ball down the field. Skip, it was just, sure, like you said, what's so hard for people to understand is that Brady is not flash. Brady is a Cadillac. That's all Brady is. He a Cadillac, maybe an Eldorado, maybe a Seville. But that's what he is. He's not a Ferrari. No. He's not a Tesla. No. He's not a Lambo. No. He's just an old school, your grandpa caddy.
And it's moving at 35 miles an hour.
That's it. Yep. Brady ain't gonna do no pirouette and slip, like you say, flick the ball 60 yards down the field of Mike Evans or Scotty Miller. That's not what he is. And I'm sure there are aspects of other guys' games that Brady wish he could have to his game. But he would not trade any aspect because he's like, I might not be as flashy. I might not have all this other stuff, but I'm 7-3. Now, would you take some of that flash in order to win another Super Bowl?
Yep.
Would you give one of those MVPs away to win another Super Bowl? Brady says, yes, although I would like to have some of that. That's what he said. He didn't say it, but what he said, I would like to be able to do that. I'd like to be able to pirouette and, off one leg and throw it 60 yards. But not at the expense of me winning the way that I've won and what I've done. So, Skip, although I do think he was complimenting me and complimenting Mahomes, and he would like to have some of the aspects of Mahomes' game to his game, not at the expense of winning.
Which is why, after I rewatched this in hindsight, I believe between the lines, if you listen carefully, even though it was disguised or camouflaged in aw shucks, gee whiz, wow, I can't believe how gifted you are, there was some critiquing going on between the lines because, as I always say, Brady is the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing.
Right.
This whole comment was a wolf in sheep's clothing because it's uttered in this, oh, wow.
Can you believe it?
You, golly gee. And yet, in the end, the tone feels like, but good luck.
Yeah.
You know, good luck with all that.
Good luck winning.
Yes.
Long to big picture.
Big picture.
That type of style.
Okay, so now we have hindsight of seeing what happened in the game. 25 times Patrick Mahomes drifted back more than 10 yards. 25 times he retreated from the line of scrimmage more than 10 yards. Well, that's unheard of.
Unheard of.
Okay. Do you realize Tom Brady got rid of the ball in the Super Bowl quicker than he did in any game the whole season for Tampa Bay? The whole season. You can have all of them. It was, I think, 2 points release time. Did he one time leave the pocket? Some of the other games this year, he would get outside the pocket occasionally. We saw him make a couple of decent throws outside the pocket. Did he leave it one time?
No.
Not one time. So he is right on schedule. It is pure textbook versus throw the book out the window.
Right.
Okay? It's what I wrote about for FoxSports.com. It's wow versus yawn, because Brady's just a yawn. It's just hard to wrap your arms around it because it's not all that fun to watch.
Right.
He is long drive clutch, but he's not walk-off play, signature play clutch.
Right.
He just keeps delivering and executing with this classic precision.
Right.
And it's not that it's spectacularly unspectacular.
Skip, he doesn't have the no look. Brady, if somebody ever flicked Brady's foot like that, Brady's just going to take the sack. He's not going to throw the ball like we saw Mahomes throw the ball.
No,
Brady just go, hey, you got me.
You got me because nobody would teach that.
No.
You don't coach it. You don't teach it. And yet he went completely over the edge into spectacular. And a couple of times he almost pulled off some spectacular plays. The one play where it got through to Tyreek, I think there was hands on the ball, but it hit him in the face mask. He wasn't quite ready for it, but it hit him in the face mask. And my God. It's just, and after a while, I told you in the second half, I thought he started to bail a little too quickly because he likes bailing. And it's what people expect him. I compare it to the Michael Vick experience in Atlanta. After a while, as Michael will tell you, I had to start kind of living up to the expectation of it. Well, he was trying to live up to pulling off the play of the year, the play of the decade. And guess what?
Skip, he was looking for that one play that would spark them.
Yeah.
And if he could have improvised, got out of that, he almost got sacked, throw the ball 30 yards down the field, somebody take it for a touchdown, maybe that, because it's always, if you notice, it's always been a play that would spark them and get that offense going. And their offense is their defense because they need a lead so the defense can start feasting. Once Mahomes get rolling, but that never came. And if you mentioned how quickly Brady got the ball away, you see, what happens when you disrupt the timing? What they did, they said, okay, we're going to rush 4. We're going to play cover 2, but we're going to put our hands on you. Because we just want him to hold it just for a tenth of a second. Now, Shaq, JPP, we're going to make him hold it. We're going to take away that first read. You got to get there the second time.
Okay, but I also think that Todd Bowles instilled and drilled into his DBs, you cannot give up on the play. You cannot let them uncover because he is the uncover master. If he does, and by the way, he looks like he weighs like 235 or 40 to me, but he can move now. He has it's just supreme athletic ability. He played shortstop. He was a pitcher. Obviously, his father was a very good major league pitcher. But his ability to get outside the pocket, it's almost to my eye test eye. He doesn't look that quick until you start saying, well, wait a second.
He's gone again.
He's gone again. And they're having a hard time chasing him down. They're taking better angles. Like you said, they're cutting him off at the pass so he can't turn the corner. They're running him to the sideline where finally he has to just fall out of bounds and throw it. But he does have escapability to him that I didn't see at Texas Tech like that.
No, I didn't see it either. I didn't really know he could run like that until last year in the playoffs. When he broke 2 of those runs.
So after a while, you start to lean on it too much. You start to rely on it because in the end, what wins in this league at the highest level is pocket passing. It just does.
Right.
It always has.
And occasionally you'll have to get off script to make a play, but that can't be your primary bread and butter.
It cannot, because Brady just showed you the recipe, the formula. At 43, I'll just stand right here, and I'm going to have to speed read because I'm going to have to pick the right guy quickly.
Yes.
And if I find the right guy and deliver it in 2.4 seconds, you're going to have a hard time stopping me.
And that was the thing, Skip. They never got Brady off that spot.
Nope.
And they never rerouted his receivers.
Nope.
And so if you don't do that, if you let the guy, whatever he wants, his first read is Mike Evans, he's there. If Chris Godwin is his first read, he's there. If Gronk or Scotty Miller, if that's his first read, and you haven't moved him off that spot, you're not beating Tom Brady.
You're not going to beat him.
He can play until he's 50. If you don't do that,
he will slowly but surely pick you to pieces, just as he did the other night.
And if you think about it, Skip, what did Coach Belichick do to the greatest show on turf? They got physical, played cover 2 style, be able to get home on Kirk. What did we just see? Get physical, be able to get home on Patrick Mahomes. That's the recipe for any great offense. That's what the Giants were able to do to Tom. Tom understands it no matter how great you are. If somebody can get you off that spot, they got him off his spot. He didn't even have no spot because he was all over the place, Skip. I don't know where his spot was supposed to be. It was just never where he wanted it to be.
So in the end, as even you have acknowledged, Brady knows and sees all. Nothing gets by him. So in that interview, that pre-Super Bowl interview, I think he was sort of foretelling what was about to happen. Like, wow, Patrick, that's amazing. And good luck.
That's amazing. But if you think you're going to win long-term, multiple Super Bowls like that, Skip.
No.
Think about it. Fran Tarkenton was all over the field. All over the field making plays.
I know our younger viewers have no idea what you're talking about, but he was impossible to corral. You just couldn't get him down. And he played the Raiders in a Super Bowl that I covered at the Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl, yeah.
Was it the Coliseum? No, it was at the Rose Bowl. And the Raiders beat him down. Because they were able to hem him in and keep him from hurting them.
And then that was the one old man Willie Brown. Old man Willie picked him up, but they were physical.
Willie Brown. That's right.
But that's the style they play. And so that's what you're gonna have to do. That's what you're gonna have to do with Tampa moving forward, Skip. You're gonna have to get in there the receiver's face. And you're gonna have to get Tom Brady off that spot. If you don't move him, you're not beating him.
He'll be back.
He's definitely coming back.
No mercy. LeBron James is looking to win his 5th career MVP this year, and a recent poll of 100 media members showed that he has the edge over Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic for the award. LeBron is averaging 25, 8, and 8 this year and is also shooting 40% from three-point range. So, Shannon, do you agree LeBron is the MVP right now?
Yeah, Skip, it's the season end of the day, but we're at the 2/3 poll because we're 25 games in. There's 72 games, so we're about a third of the way through the season. 25, 8, and 8, the number 2 team, second best record in all of basketball, number 2 seed in the West behind the Jazz. Skip, AD has missed 4 games. AD hasn't been the offensive weapon that he was last year. He's still playing outstanding defense, but he's missed 4 games. And LeBron has had to carry a lot of the load. And you look at Embiid. Embiid has already missed 5 games. Jokic is playing unbelievable. But his team is 12 and 11, and they're the 7th seed in the West. KD's already missed 8 games, and the Nets are 14 and 12. So if of the people, Joel Embiid, Jokic, Kevin Durant, Kawhi, I would say as we sit here right now, 25 games into the regular season, LeBron James is the MVP of the NBA.
And I am sorry, but I cannot see that. I did tell you a year ago, once the pandemic hit and this regular season seemed to be stopped at that point, I thought LeBron had earned the right to be the MVP. And so as we went into the sort of abbreviated finish in the bubble, I gave in and said, I would have voted him MVP. I do not have an MVP vote. And Giannis won it again.
Right.
It's strictly regular season. It has nothing to do, obviously, with the postseason.
Correct.
Okay, so here are my issues so far with LeBron James. I'm going to say it again because this is it's still a fairly short body of work, but included in that body of work was that 7-game stretch that I brought up here on the show. It started with the January 7th home loss to the Spurs, and it ended with a January 18th home loss to Golden State. That's 7 straight fourth quarters or overtime or overtimes in which he shot 5 of 24. That's 21%. He shot 2 of 12 from 3, that's 17%, and 10 of 15 from the free throw line, that's 67%, and over those 7 fourth quarters, 14. Well, that's not MVP caliber stats. Then Cleveland happened, and obviously the right-hand man of the owner, Dan Gilbert, was sitting in the front row with very few people in the house, and he overclapped for a LeBron missed jumper at the end of the third quarter, and LeBron took it very personally, and he got mad. I always tell you, I love mad LeBron. I wish, for the Lakers' sake, they could put somebody in the front row every game to make him mad, because once he gets mad, he gets hot. And he scored 21 in the fourth quarter at Cleveland. So that's when he broke out of that slump. Okay, so now, what else do we see? We got free throw shooting. Again, it's like his fatal flaw. I don't get it, but he hasn't corrected it. So he's now shooting.
Shaq won an MVP, not shooting very good free throws.
But Shaq was 7 feet, what is he, 7'1"?
But the basket's not further away for a 6'9" guy than it is a 7'1" guy.
But if you're a 6'9" guy who plays point guard or two guard, but mostly point guard, you got to do better than 71.5% of your free throws, and that's actually pretty good for him, but it's not pretty good for basketball because he ranks 95th of 112 qualified free throw shooters in the league right now. He ranks 95th. Is that MVP?
Let me ask you a question. Of the 94 guys that's in front of him, who you taking in front of him?
Okay, well, I'll take Joel Embiid, who did it again. What was he last night? 13 of 14 at Sacramento. Yeah. I watched the whole game. 6 of 15 from the floor. Just because I couldn't take my eyes off Joel Embiid. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And again, can he stay healthy? I don't know.
He's already missed 5 games.
I got it. I give you that. But when he plays, he is playing like he's on another planet. And I love what Daryl Morey said, his new GM in Philadelphia. He said, Joel is in the rare group of players in NBA history where most of the time when you watch him, you're wondering if there's a higher level of basketball league he can be promoted to.
Stop it.
As he has an unfair advantage in this league.
No, he doesn't. Skip. Joel Embiid is playing great, but stop.
Hey.
So let me ask you a question. Is he playing at a level that stretch that Shaq went through? So Shaq had a 5-year window. Is Joel Embiid playing at that level?
No, but Shaq is retired. He's not playing right now.
That's what I'm saying. So that level that he's talking, Skip, come on.
But compared to LeBron, I would say Joel's having a better year than LeBron.
But see, here's the thing, what you did. If you want to, Skip, I'm sure I can go in there and I can look at games and nitpick Joel Embiid's game, and I can nitpick Nikola Jokic's game, or Kevin Durant or Kawhi. We can nitpick all we want to, but you look at the totality, the body of work, 25-8-8. Is 25-8-8, the second best record through all that. So why isn't Joel Embiid's record better than what it is then?
Well, they've had the best record in the East most of the year.
That's not saying anything.
Okay, well, it's saying something.
Oh, now it's saying something. When LeBron had the best record in the East, it was saying nothing. It was the least in conference. Now Joel Embiid is there. It's the monsters of the Midway.
What is he up now? He's 86% from the free throw line?
Skip. All I'm saying.
He's 7 feet tall and he's 86%.
All I'm saying is that when LeBron was in the East never had it. Kevin Durant's in the East now. Joel Embiid, and everybody's talking about the East, but when LeBron was there, it was the least in conference. I'm just trying to figure out what happened. When did it become so strong?
Well, DeMar DeRozan went to the Spurs, right? And it used to be he got to play DeMar DeRozan. He got to play Paul George when he was the alpha in Indy. And he's now the co-star, the second star.
He's still buzzing heads.
Clippers. Okay.
He's still buzzing heads in the West.
Yeah.
That's what we do, Skip.
He couldn't bust the Heat's head.
We did it.
Right?
Yeah, we did. We did it. We did the number on the Heat. That's all we did to the Heat in the bubble.
Yeah.
And they hadn't recovered yet.
They were the 5th seed.
They haven't recovered
yet.
And
they lost their 2 best players in the playoffs in Game 1.
I know a 5th seed that just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. The 5th seed. So don't give me nothing about no seed. My guy is seed, mustard seed, pumpkin seed, it doesn't matter. Okay. Get him in the playoffs, it's a title.
So Patrick Mahomes got to play the 5th seed, and he lost. That doesn't speak well of Patrick Mahomes.
Skip, you know seed, that's just seeding. It doesn't matter. So I'm just trying to figure out, if Brady's there, if this was historically so great, why the hell wasn't there a 5th seed? Why would you the 1 seed? Why would you 14-2? Why would you 15-1?
He took over a brand new team in the middle of a pandemic.
You see what you did?
Well, he did with no preseason games.
Okay.
That's why it took a while to figure it out.
So let me ask you a question. How long did Joel Embiid play in the bubble last year? How long did Kevin Durant play in the bubble? Oh, my bad, he didn't play at all in the bubble. How long did Kawhi stay in the bubble? My guy finished all the way through, played in June, and then 71 days later, he back at it again.
By the way, I'm glad you brought up Kevin Durant. Without COVID interfering, he'd be right in the thick of this.
Yeah, it would, Skip. We're just saying 25 games in. When it's all said and done, this thing might flip several more times. But as we speak right now, it's hard to say somebody deserves it more than LeBron James based on his body of work.
I'm picking nits, but they're gigantic nits that I'm picking right now because...
What's Joel Embiid shooting from the three?
Well, guess what? Back to LeBron James before we get there. Guess who is number 2 in turnovers in the NBA? The runaway MVP candidate, LeBron James.
So that's never happened.
Okay. Well, he's number 2 in turnovers to guess who? Luka.
Guess what? If I'm not mistaken, I feel very comfortable in saying that James Harden and Russ won MVPs leading the league in turnovers. I feel very comfortable in saying that.
Okay.
Now, I could be wrong, but I feel very comfortable in saying it.
Okay. You could be wrong. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
We could check on
that. We're going to check.
But they won MVPs averaging triple-doubles and leading the league in scoring.
And going where? So which one had the number 1 seed? Which one had the number 2 seed? Was any of those guys?
I thought that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. Well, so that's what they said it mattered with Giannis. That's why they gave it to him. Remember?
Yeah, but James is leading the league in scoring in winning MVP and leading the league in assists.
And what did it get him?
Well, nowhere, but that's not what the award is voted on.
Okay, then, so it's not voted on free throw percentage. It's not voted on fourth quarters. It's voted on totality. You take all of that. Even though Skip, we're going to talk about 7 games. He made it seem like it was 70 games.
That's what, almost a third of the year.
How many of those games did they lose? You said it was 7 games.
It began with a home loss to the Spurs and ended with a home loss to Golden State, and they have not been very good at home. What are they up to now, like 6-4? What are they?
Consider they only lost 6 games. They've only lost 2 on the road, so they only lost 4 games.
Okay.
So that looked pretty good to me. How many have the Nets lost at home?
Well, this is about LeBron James. I know,
well, you mentioned KD.
I know, but you can't change the subject because we're talking about LeBron has been voted by media.
25, 8, and 8.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of Kevin Durant, remember when he called many of the media members who cover LeBron, remember what he called them?
Yeah.
Fanboys.
Yeah, the same ones that voted for him. So when they voted for him for the MVP, what were they?
I guess they grudgingly voted.
No, they grudgingly. You see what you do? You see? You bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
He never said anything about the media didn't know bleep when they voted him for the MVP. Now, all of a sudden, they fanboys. They don't know bleep. Wow. They sure forgot a lot of basketball because they voted his buddy MVP in 2014. They knew everything.
Okay. So the 25-game MVP, LeBron James, also in his last 2 home games has missed the final shot of regulation in both of them.
Did he win? Yep. I know Kevin Durant missed the final shot. You remember Kevin Durant clanked it. You didn't say a word.
Well, this is the MVP, and he missed back-to-back at home against bad teams. Back-to-back.
Bad teams.
Detroit, Oklahoma City.
So let me ask you a question. Are the Cavaliers a good team? Because they beat all 3 of the big 3 in Brooklyn. Are they a bad team or a good team?
Okay.
Are they going to the playoffs?
And your point is?
Okay, all these guys, Skip, every team has had a bad loss. It's hard to get up and play at that level every single night.
Okay.
But that guy does it better than any of the guys that we mentioned.
Well, he's coming off a game in which he shot 2 of 10 from 3 against Oklahoma City. Maybe he'll right that wrong tonight. I don't know.
Are you right it wrong with a triple-dub? Are you right it wrong with a triple-dub?
Yep.
They were down by 11 points in the fourth quarter. And what did he do? Skip the last 3 minutes. Score 7. Get it tied up. Get it to overtime. And then what did he do, Skip? What did he do? Yeah, that's what he did. He made him have to say, had him play masterpiece. That 9-9.
Overtime, could have avoided 2 overtimes against Detroit and 1 against Oklahoma City. All he has to do is make the last shot.
If that's the case,
go to the free throw line and make 1 free throw, and the game's over.
Think about it,
Nope,
Skip.
not going to do it. I'm going to run from the free throw line.
They went to double overtime with the Pistons. The Pistons wiped the floor with Brooklyn Nets. Are Brooklyn Nets any good? Even without KD, you still got 2 superstars, so they should have won that game, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, well, I get it that AD's having not quite an AD kind of year, but he still has one of the, most people would say, a top 5 player.
AD's missed 4 games. Right? Was AD in the game on Monday night? Was he in the game when they played Detroit? AD's missed 4 games, Skip. And by offensively. Now, he's still a dominant player defensively, but he's not having the offensive output that he had last year.
Detroit, worst record in basketball.
They beat the Brooklyn Nets. Cleveland Cavaliers got the second or third worst record.
They beat the Brooklyn Nets. No, they didn't. They didn't beat the Kevin Durant Brooklyn Nets because the best player on the planet did not play.
Okay, what about the Cavaliers? What's their record?
Yep.
Did they have all three? Cavaliers dropped 140. Did you know, Skip, 7 or 8, 9 or 10, they get up 120 points. That's the first time in 30 years that's happened.
Who's played more games together, LeBron and KD or Kevin, Kyrie, and James? They just got thrown together.
Okay, you said this. I didn't say it. Name a time that there's been a trio that had that kind of offensive firepower.
Never, ever. You got to give them a little bit of time to figure it out.
Give me an AK Tech 9 to Uzi. I don't need to be a marksman. I'm going to wet some stuff up. So you got all three of those guys.
How many cases of would you like to bet right now against them making the playoffs? Would you say the Nets are not going to make the playoffs?
You go see.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to figure this out.
Figure what out?
How far are you willing to go to tell me how bad the Nets are?
Skip, 8 teams, and then you got play-in games.
Okay.
I mean, to make the playoffs, is that the bar? So is that the bar? Dick Fosbury, they created the Fosbury flop with over a higher bar than that. You got a bar right here with a 7-footer, a 6'6", and a 6'2" point guard that got handles out the yin-yang. And that's the bar that you said they need to get over. Make the playoffs?
Well, you're saying they're garbage.
Oh, my God.
Well, you say they can't beat even a bad team.
You say my man garbage. You highlight.
I didn't say he's garbage. I just showed you he's not the MVP. I'll take Embiid every day and every night. And by the way, I will take Joel Embiid over Jokic any day or night.
No, sir, Reed.
Oh, stop.
No, sir, Reed. You see what Jokic did to Sacramento? Dropped a 50-piece on them.
Yeah.
With extra sweet and sour sauce and 10 napkins.
Listen, last night, Sacramento's not bad. They got some talent there.
You see
they
what
will
we did
fight.
To it. You see what we did to it?
Okay, I got it. But they were running an extra defender at Embiid every single time down the floor, and he still destroyed them in the end.
He ain't really say he's 6. He was free throw. They called him fouls.
Yeah, okay. Well, he gets to the line as opposed to the MVP.
They don't call us. You saw the man. He got a left-handed shot.
He's shooting fewer free throws than ever?
That's all right. We'll make it up. We get in the three-point line. You know we shoot more threes than ever with a higher percentage than ever. So we're going to make it up.
That's starting to come down toward the norm.
Are we in the 40 percentile?
Nope. You're at 39.8% from three. You're not above 40. You have drifted off your 2 of 10. You have slowly faded beneath the imaginary line.
Better case, we'll be back in the 40s tonight after tonight's game.
Yep.
But we'll be back in the 40.
Back in the 40s?
Back in the 40. We're going to go at least 4. We go at least 4 or 8.
Really?
Yep.
You want to do a case on that?
Yep, we're going to be in the 40. After tonight's game, we'll be in the 40 percentile.
Okay, I'll take a case on that.
Shannon, you want to, right now, you've kind of been struggling as of late. I'm trying to help you here.
That's if he plays now. If he doesn't play.
That is a good point. If he doesn't play,
I'll
if he takes the rest.
That's fair.
That is fair. Yeah. That is the
Since you tell him he should take a rest anyway, he should take tonight off.
He should definitely take tonight off.
Are you thinking that'll happen, Shannon?
No.
I don't think so.
No mercy.
Really, in a lot of ways, the whole NFL is still in awe over Tom Brady's magical run with the Bucs this season. Former Packers great Brett Favre said that he was left speechless by Brady's ability to turn Tampa into a Super Bowl champ, elaborating that, quote, if you'd have plugged in a different quarterback of his stature, Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers, would that magical season still have happened? I don't know. Shannon, would Aaron Rodgers have won the Super Bowl if he was the Bucs quarterback this season?
I believe they would have, Skip, because a lot of made it about Brady and changing the culture. But the number one change of culture is winning. And that's what Brady brought. Brady brought a winning mentality, Skip. It's like when you have that guy, and like I said, I played with a guy in John Elway. There was something about the calming effect knowing that I could look across the room and I see, we're going to be all right today. We got 7.
Yep.
7 is in uniform. We good. Skip, you look across there, you see number 12, Brady, and you're like, okay, we good.
Yep.
He's been there. He's done that.
Yep.
Skip, I think the difference is between these two teams was the defenses. Is that Rodgers threw 48 touchdowns, which was 8 more than what Brady threw in the regular season. He threw 5 interceptions, which I'm not mistaken was 7 fewer than what Brady threw in the regular season. The difference was the defense because Rodgers was under as much pressure as Mahomes when they played Tampa Bay. Remember, Skip, he got pressured 22 times. They took him down 5. Mahomes got taken down twice, but he was under pressure 29 times. Therein lies the difference. So, yes, I believe Drew Brees. No, I don't believe Drew because Drew was not going to be able to push the ball down the field. No, so Drew, I'll agree with that. Drew, I do not believe Drew would have been able to do what Brady did. But I do believe Rodgers would have been able to done it. Skip, do you realize in Brady's last 2 Super Bowls, his defenses has not given up a touchdown? They held the Rams to 3 points, they were averaging 33 points a game. They held the Chiefs to 9. They were averaging 31 a game. Let that sink in for just a second, Skip. In the Super Bowl, 2 teams that come in averaging over 30 points a game could not get the ball in the end zone. So I believe Rodgers could have done what Brady did this year. Skip, I mean, we talking hypothetically. We'll never know. It's fun to do that. That's how we do it. I make a living. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay. To answer this question, I'm going to reread what Brett Favre said. Missing piece of the puzzle was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
We agree on that.
Yes.
Now, if you'd plugged in a different quarterback of his stature, Breeze, Rodgers, would that magical season still have happened? Brett Favre concludes, I don't know. I don't know. I conclude that I do know. No, it would not have happened. What's the biggest difference between Green Bay's 12 and Tampa Bay's 12? Intangibles, leadership. As much as I honor Aaron Rodgers' gifts, his arm talent, his ability to scramble, all of the above, he's way more talented than Brady ever thought about being. He also has too much diva in him. There's too much finger pointing, blame deflecting. See, after the NFC Championship game, he said, I finally got my dream come true, home championship game. Yeah. He stunk up the fourth quarter, and then he had the audacity after the game to completely flip the script to, it's my team's fault. They didn't get me enough help, and maybe I'll go somewhere else after this.
Skip, I just think the thing is that winning is a cure or a fix to a lot of things. And the difference between Jameis and Brady, forget Brady's greatness, Skip. It was the turnovers.
Just cleaning up the act, right? I agree.
That's it.
Okay.
It's like.
By the way, Jameis has high leadership intangibles. Yes. He does. They follow Jameis, and they will. I assume he's going to have a real shot to win the job. We'll see if New Orleans will follow him. Yep.
Skip, it's like, a car. Sometimes it just needs a good wash and a good waxing, and you're like, damn, that car looked like that. Well, that's what Tom Brady was. Tom Brady was the wash, the waxing. Then you're like, hold on, Tampa really? Yeah, Tampa had all those pieces, with the exception of Tristan Wirth, that they drafted. The offensive line pretty much stayed intact.
Yep.
Everybody, Cameron Brate started more.
In Antoine Winfield to be the quarterback of the second.
Yeah, but
as a rookie.
But offensively, Skip, they were pretty much the same. Okay. Leonard Fournette, I think, started the Super Bowl the last tail half, like last 3 or 4 games. Leonard Fournette was started at Rojo. But that's all. That's what they needed.
Okay. What did I keep telling you from the start? He is instilling and installing the Patriot way in what I call Tampa Bay.
Winning.
It's just a culture. It's a feeling of, this is how we do it. This is how we practice. This is how we stay after practice. Because Fournette kept talking about, would you believe he keeps us after just the running backs after practice every day just to throw to us?
We used to catch him up. Skip, the thing is, the Patriot way is about winning. It's about being unselfish. Yeah. That is the greater good of the team.
And it's about being a professional.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because you have to put the team in front of your own goals, whatever it may be. And that was the one thing. Remember how Devin White said he was a little down because he didn't make the Pro Bowl?
Yep.
He like, I don't give a damn about no Pro Bowl. I'm trying to win another type of bowl. So you get guys to understand that the team goal, Super Bowl, is bigger than your individual goal, which is all Pro Bowl selection.
Yep. I got it. So Brett Favre goes on to say, Tom Brady, his leadership, his competitiveness, is he the most talented quarterback? Nobody would say. Well, none of us would say that. But he's saying his competitive nature is as good now as it's ever been. Yeah. And in part, that was driven by one Bill Belichick.
Right.
Because he went down there on a mission to take his talents not to South Beach, but to Tampa Beach, right?
Yeah, but Skip, we know, look, I think the notion is that always in a given sport, the most talented is always the best. Skip, we know that's not the case. We know Emmitt Smith, although he's the all-time, he was not the most talented running back.
Agreed.
Jared Rice was not the most talented receiver. There have been a lot of receivers.
Emmitt timed 4.6 at the combine. 4.6.
Emmitt, my dog, we came out together. Right. That's my boy. I love Emmitt. But he's not the most talented running back. Jerry wasn't the most talented receiver. There are a lot of receivers that can run faster, can jump higher.
Completely agree.
But, and that's Tom. We got to stop this notion because Tom isn't talented. Well, no, Tom is. at that position, Skip, you can get away with a lot less, being less talented than you can at a lot of positions.
Okay.
Because the talent, he out there trying to outrun people, run around and do all that other stuff.
Okay.
All you got to do is protect him up. Lock it up for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And don't move him off that spot and see what he do to you.
Okay. So, big picture, as critical as I've been over Patrick Mahomes' 2 Super Bowl performances because they've been subpar by his regular season standards, I will take Patrick Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers any Sunday, any Monday, any Thursday, because Patrick leads that team. They follow him.
Yeah.
And he says and does all the right things. I think he needs to clean up his act. He's falling into the trap of trying to live up to the wow factor, and you can't win that way. That's why he didn't score a single touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Well, Skip, they're going to have to clean up their act. They're going to have to stop doing all that scat protection. And when you see the pressure,
I got it.
Because if you think about it, when he played the 49ers, what could the 49ers do? Rush the quarterback with Bosa, with Armstead, with D Ford. They had those guys that could get after the quarterback. So you're going to have to understand that.
You're talking about like empty back.
All that scat protection, 5 eligible receivers out. Sometimes you're going to have to go max protect and maybe just put 2-3 guys out. Tampa does that a lot. If they think you coming with a blitz, they'll lock it up. It says, okay, we'll get a 15-yard completion as opposed to the home run.
The reason Rob Gronkowski is so valuable, even in his advanced age, is if you line him up at tight end and Tom sees or feels blitz, he can signal Gronk to be the next. He can be the 6th offensive lineman. He is.
I just want you to know you skipped that 3rd down. On that 3rd and 2 that they ended up getting the first down. He looked at Gronk. He's like, okay, this guy comes. You hide.
You go. Okay.
He breaks to the flat. He gets the first down.
That was when after Andy Reid had called 2 timeouts.
Right.
Okay.
And so
now you're in trouble.
Right.
Okay. So seriously, look at Brett Favre's body of work and put it in some perspective. Look at what happened in his 1 Super Bowl, because they did the wild card Super Bowl thing too. They went on the road. Remember to Philadelphia, Atlanta, and then to Chicago.
Yes.
Okay, what happened in the second half at Chicago? They're up 14-0. Jay Cutler, for whatever reason, he's got a sprained knee, can't go. He's on the bicycle on the sideline. It's the immortal Caleb Haney at quarterback, and in the second half, Aaron, he stinks by his standards. He's 7 of 15 for 83 total yards with an interception. No touchdowns, interception. And they barely hang on because they finally pick off Caleb Haney late, and they hang on 21-14. That gets him to the Super Bowl. He was great in the Super Bowl. I give you that. He put it on Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, and you know the rest of that story. He should have been the MVP, obviously. Okay, since that day, which was long ago now, that's 10 years ago, he's 7-8 in the postseason, and he's 1-4 in the NFC Championship games. Not all his fault, but he also got a lot of breaks in the 7 wins because, remember, you got to play against Joe Webb and Kirk Cousins, the Dez Cauditt game, the Mason Crossbar game, the Odell boat trip game back at Lambeau.
Skip,
there's a lot of where he got big breaks in those games.
You do realize Tom Brady had a lull like that. Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowls by the time he's 27, and then he really had none between 27 and 37. Okay. And then he has, in the last 6 years, he has 4. So he had a decade lull. So I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to go on this Tom Brady historic run and get 4 of the next 6 Super Bowls. But there's a chance he can win another 1 or 2, and then that will be a distant memory that he went in 2010, won the Super Bowl, and here we are 2021, 2022.
Okay, just me. Bottom line, Aaron wasn't blessed enough with leadership intangibles to go into a situation with a 7-9 team, talented as it was, and turn the culture around and lead that team to a Super Bowl in your first try in a pandemic with no preseason games.
Well, maybe, Skip, it wouldn't be because of ability. Maybe because he had been as accomplished as Tom. Tom comes in with 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances. So maybe it's not so much about maybe what Brett's trying to say, and I hate trying to infer what someone's trying to say because he could have said this. Maybe it's not the X's and O's. Maybe it's just the intangible. Maybe it's just the aura of who I am and what I've been able to do. Not so because we know Aaron Rodgers is every bit as good as the quarterback on the field. Maybe what you're talking about is off the field, in the meeting room, the practice field.
So the soliloquy was, I'm speechless, because he's sitting back watching what Brady did at 43, and he's saying, I'm speechless. I don't know how to explain it.
Because think about it, Skip. Brett went 96, went 97, and never got back.
Never got back. Okay, and you stopped him in '97.
Right. So that's what's so amazing, Skip. When you start, and I still stay in contact with a lot of guys, is that just the awe. A man has been to 10 Super Bowls. 10. One guy.
One guy.
And
by the way, he's won 7 out of 10. 70%.
You covered it. We played it. You know how hard it is to get to that game.
How many very good players, how many great players played your sport and never got to one?
A lot.
A whole lot.
And some just got to one and never got back.
That is correct. But a lot of them are your brethren in the Hall of Fame with no Super Bowl, no Super Bowl appearances.
Yes.
No mercy. Some people thought Patrick Mahomes had a chance to make a run at the GOAT crown with a win on Sunday, but after falling to Tom Brady and the Bucs, the young gunslinger was pretty humble talking to the 43-year-old after the game. Take a listen to what exactly NFL Films captured.
Hey, you're a legend, man. Congrats, man. You're amazing, man.
Yeah, let's keep in track.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
It's interesting. Okay, Shannon, how did this come across to you? And you know about those conversations post-game better than anyone else.
Yes. Mahomes did the right thing. That's what he normally does. I mean, that's what opposing quarterbacks do. Win, lose, or draw. You go to the middle of the field, and you shake the guy's hand. You congratulate him. Hell of a game, guys. Good. Congratulations. Good luck. But this is what we know. Based on history, this is not speculation. This is not innuendo. This is not conjecture.
Nope.
Tom Brady loses these games. He does not shake the opposing quarterback's hand.
Not once in 3 losses.
So that's what we know. That's 100%.
100%.
That's 100%.
Yep.
Mahomes, I don't think Mahomes was humbled. I think that's the way you do it every time. Like I said, I used to go to the center, hear some of John's. He's like, hey, man, good luck, congratulations, hell of a game. And, you jog off the field. That's normally what happens. That's just the way it is. You don't, well, we won, let's go to the center of the field. Well, if I lose, I don't want no part of that. I'm not a loser. Oh, you showed me a great loser. I show you a guy that loses all the time. No, it's not about that.
I'll show you a loser.
Yeah,
right.
But Skip, it's not about that. It's about that's the way you handle it. Mm-hmm. And I thought Patrick Mahomes handled it well. And we know, based on history, had the roles were reversed, that's not what Tom would have done.
I was a little surprised by the exchange, and I compliment Patrick. That was classy. Mm-hmm. That was sportsmanship. That's he stepped right up and faced it right away. But the exchange was a little colder than I thought it would be, and slightly more awkward than I thought it would be. On both parts. Okay. Because, remember, after the AFC Championship game, again, the one at Kansas City, Brady had pulled it off in overtime with the 3 straight 3rd and 10 conversions, so he was flying high. But he waited a while after the media sessions were over, and he walked down the hall at the Chiefs Stadium, Arrowhead, and basically asked the attendant, could I speak to Patrick? And that's when he told him, you're doing the right things. You're on the right track, and you're going to have a great future in this game. And Andy Reid brought it up, certainly the off week ahead of the Super Bowl. That meant a lot to Patrick, that it validated him because the big guy.
That's what you want. You want the big guy that do what you do. To say
I thought they had a little more of a connection.
No, not in that situation, Skip.
Okay.
You just try to get off the field because at that point in time, Skip, they're roping it off. Family, they're trying to usher families in there. And I'm surprised, normally it's in the regular season, Skip, you just, hey, man, good luck, congratulations, boom, you gone.
Okay.
And in a situation like this, it's getting real chaotic. A lot of people are excited, and so that's not the extent of it.
There was no hug. Now, maybe that's a COVID thing, maybe because it horrifies me to see him out there with no mask on right now, but at least they got through an NFL season.
Hey, Skip, at that point in time, I was surprised to see people at the Super Bowl with masks on. What you going to do if you get COVID now? You ain't no more games.
At least that's it. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I got it. But, you got Patrick saying, you're a legend, man. Congrats. It's cool. And then Brady says, you're a stud, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. But then Brady's saying, let's keep in touch. It's like what they say in Hollywood, let's have lunch.
Right.
Well, you're not going to have lunch.
Right.
And it came across like, I don't know that they're going to stay in touch.
That's just, hey, man, how you doing, man? We should get together sometime. I ain't going to ever see you again.
No. So I still say the lead up to the Super Bowl, Patrick got a little full of himself for Brady's taste. And remember, there were some remarks he made about he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Right.
And he also, there was the one quote that we used the audio of where he said, he's the GOAT. And he sort of drew out GOAT sarcastically.
Right.
Because the kid thinks, he thinks he's on the way to becoming the GOAT.
The way he thinks, Skip, I think he says, well, if I just say he's the GOAT, that's not doing a service to Joe Montana. That's not doing a service to Peyton Manning. And he doesn't want to be, he's not like us. We have to, Skip, we have to be on one side or the other. He has to be a little bit more diplomatic in his approach. You and I, we don't have to be diplomatic.
So now to paraphrase Ghostbusters, I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Right.
Well, he ain't afraid of no GOAT, right? Because he's not.
Right.
And he went into that game, I'm sure he stepped on the field thinking, I got this.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then he don't got this.
Right.
And it was very interesting to me, if you watch the clip that you can see on YouTube or wherever you find it on Twitter, Kelsey then runs right up to Brady in the very moment after Patrick departs.
Yes.
And what does Kelsey say? I had a feeling you'd figure it out.
Right.
He says that to Brady.
Right.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
You know, what was this thing about the congrats on 7? That's all you. That's all you, big guy. Okay. But Kelsey, to me, is admitting, I didn't sleep very well last night thinking, you know what, this guy.
That's Tom.
Yeah, hey, he just might figure it out.
There are certain times that you play guys, Skip, and you know what they're capable of doing.
Yep.
You know, I only played Peyton Manning a handful of times, but you know what he's capable of. You know what a guy like Favre, you know what a guy like, even when Montana had went to Kansas City, even though he didn't have the weapons around him, but he was still Joe. Mm-hmm. And that Monday night showdown between he and John, Skip, he showed you that he's still Joe Montana. He can get it done. And so when you got Tom Brady on the other side, Skip, you remember even when the score out there, if the score was like 28-3 in Atlanta, you see the Falcons players sitting on the sideline saying, but they still got Tom Brady over there. Mm-hmm. Skip, you're up 28-3. And you say, well, they still got Tom over there.
I agree.
So
that was the impact of just his mere presence.
You know what's up with it.
Okay, you know what's up. Okay, now back to your biggest takeaway. I cannot argue 1 ounce of this. He's a sore loser. And if you want to dock him for that, if you want to think less of him for that, you got me. And I think you do. That's one, so to speak, chink in the armor, however you want to look at it.
I just would like for him to pay the respect that the others give him in victory. That's it. I'm saying you gracious in victory, gracious in defeat. Yep. That's it, Skip. I'm not, telling the guy, New England don't put a statue up because he's a poor role model about sportsmanship. Yep. I'm not saying Tampa might put a statue up in front of their building.
They might.
With Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. He might be a guy that has 2 statues. He'd be like Kobe. Kobe got 2 statues at stable, 1 in 8, 1 in 24. He retired his jersey. He got one statue, but retired both of his jerseys.
Yep.
That's all, Skip. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to make too big of a deal about it, but I just think that guys, think about how many times Tom Brady got over 200, probably 230 victories, and somebody's had to shake his hand in defeat.
Yeah, I got it. But I always tell you, I had the honor and privilege of getting to know Michael Jordan in his final year, 1998 in Chicago, the last dance season. Right. And, he's not what I'd call a nice guy.
No.
And I idolize him. I'm in awe of all things Jordan, but he was the all-time cold-blooded killer on the basketball court.
But what rubbed Mike the wrong way with Isaiah? What did Isaiah do?
Okay, but he's going to see the slightest slight. If anybody dares to not pay homage back to him, because they wouldn't shake hands. They walked off the floor.
Because Jordan said, for 3 years, you bust my butt.
They did.
And at the end of the game, at the end of the series, I walked over and shook your hand.
And he did it with teeth clenched.
Yes. And so now I get the advantage on you, and you want to squirm your way up out of here?
He did.
Oh, no. That's all I'm saying, Skip. That's all I'm saying. Think about 7 times somebody's had to come to the center field at the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Tom. Hell of a job. And trot off, tail between the legs. 3 times it happened to him.
Okay, well, I'll throw in one more. That Thursday night game at Chicago this year.
Nicky Foles.
This game, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes on the show.
Right.
But it's another Nick Foles got Tom Brady game. It's his nemesis. I'm pretty sure he ducked.
And you know what? And I'm wondering, is it because he loses or he losing to someone that he doesn't think he's on his level? Because I think when he lost to Peyton, In the AFC Championship games,
I believe he did. I do not think he ever thought Eli was on his level.
Right. I don't think he thinks Nick Foles on his level.
Okay. Eli, Nick Foles.
Right. So I think that maybe that has something to do with it.
If the tables had turned, if 15 had won that game over 12, do you think 12 would have marched out there and shaken his hand? I think there's a chance he would have.
But
there's way more respect between those two.
But Skip, I got no history that says that would have happened.
No, you don't.
Based on the history, it says that it wouldn't have happened.
Yep.
So as much as I want to give him that, you know what? That is my homeboy. He is an MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. That would have been his second. Tom would have thought enough, okay, I did get beat by a hell of a player.
Okay.
But the history isn't there for me to say that.
Okay, and you don't love it when I bring up Psycho Tom, but he's got this split personality, this alter ego that comes out in the heat of battle, as Honey Badger saw up close and all too personal. And that same guy, I showed you the clip yesterday, at the end of the game, he's in the huddle just screaming F-bombs. We did it. And it's kneel down time, okay? So he's out of his mind during kneel down time. There's no coming down yet from the game. So I think if he loses with that kind of emotional overreaction, he just can't. I think he's out of his mind. I think he needs to go hide someplace.
It's funny that he loses his mind, he's out of his mind. But when he wins, he just snaps right back into it. Like, hey, guys, how you guys do it? Thank you.
Snapped right back into it.
Pat me on the back. Tell me how great I am. Y'all know it. Y'all know your boy got 7 now.
Okay, and he's over there hugging Gronkowski, talking about tutties.
Yes.
2 tutties, like 2 little kids talking about we're going to have a sleepover tonight.
Hey.
Yeah.
Skip to the victor goes the spoils.
Okay. I've never encountered anything like this 12.
No.
This guy shattered all the molds, but he also shatters these sports for you. Yeah. But he's 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you can't really argue with those numbers in a lot of ways.
No mercy.
So the Nets, who are still without Kevin Durant due to contact tracing, lost to the Pistons last night, 122-111, giving Brooklyn its 3rd straight loss and dropping its record to 7-11 against sub-500 teams. At one point, James Harden was seen getting visibly frustrated with his own teammates during a timeout. And when asked about their struggles after the game, Kyrie Irving replied, "I don't think that we go out every single day of our lives and sacrifice the time in order to be average at anything. And we look very average, and we have the talent that the eye test presents that we should be dominating." Shannon, how concerned should the Nets be?
Skip, they should be concerned because they're not improving defensively. And I thought that was going to be a problem. Skip, they're a small team now. They don't really have wing defenders. Yeah, they get some deflections. James Harden does a great job of stealing the ball, getting a lot of deflections. But Skip, they're terrible defensively. As I mentioned earlier, 120 points in 7 straight games. 9 of 10, most in 30 years. That 85. Oh, I say, Skip, so you believe that's the norm or that was an anomaly? Oh, I believe that's the norm. No, 85. 85? Look, it's hard for me to see. And I'm looking at Skip, when I watch them, it seems like every game they play, somebody gets a career high. I watched Colin Sexton get a career high. I watched Jeremy Grant get a career high. Somebody every single game is getting a career high against this team. Skip, they're not good defensively. They have the firepower to lock you up offensively. And I said, I believe that's how they're going to try to outscore. But they're letting these teams that should no way, Skip, get to 120. And they're getting 120, 130. It's going to come back to bite you. And Steve Nash says, my message was personal pride, connectivity coming together, just resistance. Wow. But Skip, who are you fooling? You played in that D'Antoni system. Y'all never played defense. It's always been in D'Antoni's system, Skip. It's always outscore your opponent.
Yep.
That's why come playoff time, Skip, they get their butts bounced. Because they're going to make you play in the half-court set, and then all of a sudden, the easy buckets that you're getting, and you're not getting them. But you can't stop anybody. So they should be concerned, Skip. They should be concerned.
They should only be concerned because the best player on the planet did not play last night because he is another COVID victim.
When he was playing, they're still giving up 120. When he plays, they give up 120.
Well, he's supposed to be back for Friday night, so we'll see what happens after that because you said they're a small team, but if you get that 7-foot monster in there, they don't seem so small to me anymore.
They do, because think about it, Skip, your 2 guard is 6'2", 6'1", maybe. Kyrie is your 2 guard.
But your point guard is 6'5", and his name is James Harden, and would you
How
believe...
that defense looking?
Guess what he did last night? Does this qualify as defense? He blocked 5 shots last night. 5 shots? The point guard blocked 5 shots.
Well, how the hell they get 120 points then?
Because they don't show up for teams they think will just roll over and play dead when they walk on the floor. It's that dream team psyche and mentality that they have developed, like, oh, we're the greatest offensive trio ever. Obviously, they were missing one of the 3 last night. But Kyrie and Harden, especially Kyrie, they step on the floor and they think, oh, do you know who we are? Do you know what Detroit did to the Lakers at Staples just a few nights back?
Yeah.
They took them to 2 overtimes.
With AD and Bron.
Yeah, with AD and Bron. They took them to 2 overtimes. How did they do that? Mason Plumlee was guarding LeBron the whole night. What are you doing? And remember, that night they were down. They didn't have Blake Griffin. They didn't have Ellington. And obviously Derrick Rose didn't play because he was about to be traded to the Knicks, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Detroit fights. Dwayne Casey is a really good basketball coach, and he will not let them quit on anybody. So they came out blazing in this game. And what did Kyrie, I watched his whole post-game interview live. What did he also say? He was like, gee, like wide-eyed. He said, every night we play one of these teams, and somebody has a career night against us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Wake up.
Skip, they like, hold on. We got the Nets. Oh yeah.
Good.
Money. Yes.
But it's also, so they got Kyrie and Harden and KD. Well, let's see what they got.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to get the best of everybody.
Get everybody's best.
All right. LeBron gets it every night, right between the eyes.
Yes.
He can say, "Yeah, I know how that feels. I live it." He lives that life.
Yes.
Kyrie has not had to live that life except when he was with LeBron.
Exactly.
Okay.
But he should know how that is, Skip, that you're going to get everybody's best shot.
Okay.
Everybody, a lot of teams, Skip, are not going to make the playoffs. And if they do, but their playoffs is beating you.
Okay. So what happened in the 4th quarter last night at Detroit? A kid named Sadiq Bey, who was the 19th overall pick in the draft out of Villanova, hasn't done much yet for the Pistons.
No.
But look at these numbers in the 4th quarter. He was allowed to play all 12 minutes because he had the hottest hand.
Yeah, he got
So
going.
guess what he does in the 4th quarter? He goes 6 of 6, including 3 of 3 from 3. He scores 15 points. He has what you would say would be his career night in the 4th quarter, not overall, but I'm sure, has he ever been hotter than that? No, he's never been hotter than that. And Kyrie and Harden, they're just saying, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What got into him tonight?
DeLon Wright's getting to the rim, getting whatever he wants.
Whatever. And then you realize Jeremy Grant.
He bet on himself, Skip. He bet on himself. He says, look, the Nuggets, that's Murray's team. I want my own team.
Okay. He's a good player.
He is.
He's a good player. Denver misses him right now.
Yes.
He had a career high 32 points last night on 11 of 19 from the field and 4 of 8 from the three-point line. It's hard. If those guys are going to do that and all of a sudden Bey is going to come off the bench and go 6 for 6 in the 4th quarter, you're going to be in trouble. And I watched most of the game. I was in and out because I had the Spurs and Golden State on. But I'm looking back and forth, and I kept saying, okay, they'll figure it out. No, they never figured it out because these guys never cooled off.
Skip, and plus, with the exception of Blake Griffin, Skip, this team is young. Yep. They run. They play. I mean, look at the minutes they're playing. And that's what the Lakers like. Hold on, them jokers got. Skip, remember when they went to when the Lakers went to Detroit in that 4th quarter? They ran the Lakers right up out of the building.
They did.
Them young legs getting up and down the court.
Okay, so what we keep seeing, we see these teams with bad records rise up and have a big game against a good team, right? And it's been a recurring theme in another weird year that is COVID sort of racked. It's just because everything with obviously very few fans in the stands.
Right.
It's everything's a little off rhythm. Right. So these bad teams can have good games. And by the way, the talent in this league, I was watching Sacramento play. It was at home against Philly. Sacramento's got talent.
They do.
Everywhere.
They do. De'Aaron Fox.
God. He's becoming he's starting to become a superstar.
That joker's so quick, Skip. Hey, he said, I mean.
And that kid Halliburton that they
he
can play. And Bagley can play, man. They're coming alive.
But Skip, when you look at this team, Skip, you look at Joe Harris as a forward. Okay. Joe Harris probably, what, 6'3", 6'4"? He played the four. I
don't know. He's more 6'5", 6'6".
I mean, Jeff Green.
Yeah, but see, he can just shoot the lights out, and he gets 6 shots and makes 2 of 6 from 3. He needs more shots than that.
Well, Skip,
so Kyrie said, I got this, and guess how many times he shot? 28 times. It won't work, Skip, unless you got a hot hand.
The thing is, now people don't remember this, but I remember this. You remember Joe Harris? Mm-hmm. He played with LeBron in Cleveland.
Yeah.
How many shots, how many threes he was making? You see, with that level of expectations, we got George Hill. George Hill was shooting 60% from 3 when he got it from Sacramento and he got with LeBron. Yeah. He couldn't make anything. He go to Milwaukee, he can't miss. He go to OKC, he can't miss.
Yep.
Joe Harris playing, he can't miss in Brooklyn.
Well, he won the 3-point shootout at All-Star Weekend.
But that pressure, when you see, now the pressure's going to start to come because there's expectations. Yep. Playing with KD, playing with Kyrie and James Harden. So when that ball gets swung.
Joe Harris should get every shot he's ever dreamed of getting. He should.
Easy.
He
should shoot 50% because he's getting wide open.
Yep.
Because you gotta come double KD and James Harden.
You ready to write this group off?
I ain't gonna ready to write them off, but it's gonna be a struggle, Skip, because people believe that they can. It's the same thing with the Clippers. Teams say we can get to the basket on this guy. They can't stay in front of us.
We'll see.
Oh, conga line. They got that conga line go to.
We'll see when they get the other MVP candidate, Paul George, back.
Oh, Lord. Hold on. Y'all thinking about getting up? What about Pat Bell?
Well, let's get him back. Let's see.
They tried to get him up out of there.
There's some rumors about it, and we got to get Lou Williams back on track.
No, whoa.
I don't know what happened.
I thought it was all Trez. You say once they got Trez out the building, everything was going to be okay.
They have clearly been much happier and better coached, and I'm a big Doc fan.
But how's the record? The record is not indicative of that.
Okay, well, they don't have Paul George for a while.
Whoa.
And Pat Bev. And Pat Bev, he may not be the point guard, but he defends point guards at the highest level.
Who he defending? Luka was cooking.
LeBron James.
Dave Lillard give him big work. Stop that. Don't do that, Skip.
They don't cook him. They do not cook him.
Cook him.
Yeah.
Dan Dollar put him in the blender every time.
I once saw him block LeBron's shot on a Christmas Day game at the end of the game, a three-pointer to win the game. And he blocked it up out of his hands, off the top of his head, out of bounds to win the game.
And they hung a banner for that, right?
Yep.
Did you see those big old... We got a really good team, and we had a really big ring.
Yep.
And a really big ring ceremony.
And
did y'all watch?
It was made of cubic zirconia.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. So, hold on.
Yep.
So, Tom Brady's Super Bowl ring going to be a cubic zirconia because it was COVID.
COVID? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was COVID.
Full strength. Nobody had to stay in any bubbles.
Yeah, no.
They got to...
No.
Kansas City got to sleep in its own beds all week.
You were down 4 offensive linemen. Kansas City was down 4 offensive linemen.
Yeah, it happens.
Osimile, Fisher, Swartz, and Duvernay.
Yeah. The Bucs were down both starting safeties at Aaron Rodgers for the whole second half. Shin on that.
So in other words, the most important position is quarterback. The most important thing you can do is protect the quarterback. And you talk about safety.
Tom Brady was down his starting right guard for the Super Bowl. He lost him. Well, he did.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm proud of myself.
And
I'm prouder of 12.
Yeah, you proud you got the little cases of do-off. But that's okay. I get them back.
9 little cases.
I get them back.
How did we make that transition? You know what I will not be doing is betting on my Minnesota Timberwolves today, who are hosting Skip's Clippers, because it's been a tough.
Y'all got them.
No mercy.
Colin Kaepernick is serving as the co-chair of a new blank check company called Mission Advancement that will look to invest in businesses with cultural and social impact. According to the SEC filing on the new endeavor, Mission Advancement wrote, "We believe Mr. Kaepernick's substantial business experience combined with his long-term leadership on social equality and justice issues will support our success in identifying a prospective target company and adding transformational value to the combined entity." You guys get all that? Because I tried there. Shannon, do you like Kaepernick's career path post-football and what he's doing here?
I do, Skip. I think, you have to make a transition because a lot of times when your career is over in a professional sport, Skip, a lot of times you're not going to stay in that professional sport. You're not going to become a coach or a general manager, or you're not going to be around it. So you have to, find other ways. And I think the thing is, Skip, is that he's really trying to impact the change that he really wants to see. He says, there's a lot of businesses do all this talking and they come up with these catchphrases and slogans and billboards. But We don't have black CEOs. We don't have black and brown. We don't have women. We don't have diversity in these positions. So what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to acquire businesses or invest in businesses that with the sole purpose of having minorities, to have diversity, and to help these communities. So I love what he's doing. He did a lot to know your rights. He did a lot to get people out to vote. So I'm very happy with the path that his career has taken in his post-football career.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to guess there are cynics out there who will say, oh, so he's getting rich off his kneeling. He's cashing in on his kneeling. No. What happened was the National Football League took away his first love, what he wanted to do most, which was to play quarterback in the National Football League. And he played it for a long time at a very high level. We've been over and over that. And all of a sudden, it was gone. And he tried to get back in, and he tried, and it's pretty clear, I know to you and certainly to me now, that phase is over. That part of his life is over. So did the NFL leave him broke and lost? No. He said, okay, there's a little silver lining here. I'm going to parlay the attention I did get into this.
My name,
He has become a force, man. He's become a powerhouse in the black business world and also a force in the business world in general.
I look at it like a Magic Johnson situation. When Magic got his diagnosis, Skip, he couldn't play basketball anymore. So what did he do? He got Starbucks, he got Magic Johnson movie theaters. And Magic Johnson is one of the biggest business people. When you talk about business in L.A., especially black, Magic Johnson is one of the names. So you can't say, well, so what was Magic supposed to do? But I can't play basketball, man. Let me just sit over here. Oh, I don't know what I do. Poor me, poor me. Cap's like, okay, I can't play football. There are other things I can do. And what's he not supposed to do? He's not supposed to get gainful employment? Man, people need to, people that were skeptical to begin with will remain skeptics. There's nothing you can do about that, Skip.
No, I agree. But you can slowly but surely enlighten them a little bit where they start to open their eyes and ears a little bit to, aha.
But everybody thought he did it for money anyway, Skip. Oh, look at Nike. Now he getting paid for taking a knee. Well, he took a knee for what he thought he believed in. Skip, I mean, people used to play Dr. King. To come to speak at their churches and to do things like that. That's what happens.
Okay, all right. So an SPAC is way over my head. I don't know if you know it. You're probably investing in lots of them, but I'm not yet. So the point is, this is a $1 billion project that he's involved in, and he is surrounded by power brokers, forces in the black business world. That John Najafi, he's a minority owner of the Phoenix Suns. He's a force. And Ava DuVernay, and we can go on and on. And what I love about this new group that they've formed is that the board members are majority female and people of color. Okay? Good. It's all going in the right direction, and everything is socially, racially conscious. And he's got quite a portfolio going because he does have Nike and he does have the partnership with Disney to provide content. He's with Medium. I want to hear more and more from him because I think he has a lot to say.
Skip, you'd be surprised, but a lot of these guys, Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, and Brent Jones, in a lot of these this acquisition companies, make fortunes. I mean, that's what you do. You get in at the bottom floor and they buy up things, and the next thing you know, you'll be very profitable. I don't have a problem with it. Hey, I wish I had gotten more involved in business, and I'm trying to learn more now. But, maybe that's one of its passions, Skip. But it seems to me, he says that in order for me to empower the black people and to give them the representation that they need, maybe I need to get my own damn company and hire some, and we buy companies, and then we employ those, and then we can get what we want. We got to stop asking. He's like, we're going to just stop asking you, because it seems like our questions are falling on deaf ears. So what we'll do is that we'll start our own company. We'll start doing what we need to do, and then we'll start empowering people that look like us.
So in the end, I hope he feels more and more comfortable to speak out, because in the beginning, when it first seemed like he'd been forced completely out and it was over, I was hoping, because he's such an eloquent speaker, when he finally started to explain himself post-game, It was just riveting.
Right.
He knows what of he speaks. And so I thought, will he become a crusader, a social justice warrior? Mm-hmm. And he didn't choose that path yet, but I think it's still out there. I'm talking about a Dr. King kind of path.
I think, Skip, he's probably more behind the scenes in the social justice thing, but he still has a, as to speak the old Southern cliche, a pole in the water.
Yep.
So, so I'm not. Don't totally dismiss that. But he's like, I can do more than one thing to help the advancement of my community.
Bottom line. It's still very sad. Listen, you can have all the billion-dollar investment and ventures you want, but in the end, when you get your first love taken away, you know how it feels.
Yeah.
I mean, you finally had to just stop playing football because your body said, I can't do this, or your mind said, I can't do this anymore. Well, that didn't happen.
But exactly, Skip. I walked away. It wasn't taken away. Had it been taken away, like my brother. But my brother, he found something. He found another passion. He loved golf. So that replaced football, and it seems to me that he loved golf more than he ever loved football.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm surprised.
Absolutely. Every single day. There's not a day that doesn't go by that he does something. He got a simulator in his house. If it's raining, he's I call him, man, I'm on the course, man. I hit you right back. Every day. So that's his passion. So maybe this is his passion, like his passion. And so I'm happy for Cap.
Wait a second. Wouldn't Sterling trade all of his golf for 3 or 4 more football years? What if there's no neck injury? What if I told Sterling?
Skip, he didn't love it like I loved it.
Really?
No.
Huh. Well, he could play it, man.
He was like almost like Barry. He was good at it. He could make a great living. Now, he put the time into it, Skip, but it was everything. It was life or death to me, whereas it wasn't life or death to him.
Really? I hope our younger viewers won't remember, but he was a force.
Yeah. Skip, it's hard to say because
he played more pure wide receiver.
Yeah, he was a Z in the he was the Z in the West Coast.
And he went 6'2".
No. He was 6 foot.
Only
about
6 foot?
212, 215.
Okay.
But he was that first run after the catch guy, big physical guy. And what you see at Anquan Bolden, the guys like that, that's what he was. Yeah.
Remember, I worked with him for several years at ESPN, so I had Sterling, then Shannon.
Yes.
And it just seemed like he towered over me at 6'2".
He 7 years, 5 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros, Triple Crown, led the league in touchdowns, receptions, and yards. And, hopefully one day they say, because we're starting to see, Skip, guys get in with shortened careers. We see TD played basically 7 years, got in. Gale Sayers was the first to get in. We saw Megatron get in. And for me, I believe my brother was as dominant in his era as Megatron was in his.
How old was he when he had to stop?
29.
29, and it was a neck.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you call it a neck injury?
His last year, Skip, he had 18 touchdowns and never played another down. Had 94 catches, over 1,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, and never played another down.
And the doctor told him, you will risk.
He said, if you was my son, I tell you couldn't play.
Because you will risk getting paralyzed, correct?
Yes. That's so they ended up having to take a bone out of his hip, fuse his neck together, and... Does
it still trouble him?
No, it doesn't bother him. Doesn't bother him at all.
Well, good for him.
It bothered me more than it bothered him. He said, LeBron, I'm crying. He's like, man, hey, it's all right.
Well, I'm glad he found his bliss. Although you don't make any money playing golf, I don't think.
It's the fact he goes win. I mean, he won a couple. He won like a Harley Davidson that he can't ride a motorcycle. He camped it for like 5 or 6 years, ended up selling it. But he goes to these celebrity pro-ams and does pretty good.
Yep. Good for him.
Hearing that, that's really interesting, especially that, Skip, you've worked with both of these.
I the best one at it.
Sure, brother. Do you have any inside scoop? Yeah, it's not a
Sterling
competition.
was something on television.
Really?
Oh, he could speak.
Really? Oh, Shannon, I'm going to cut that off.
He had the gift of gab.
You dirty, Skip. You dirty. Sold me out.
I hope he is watching and can hear
He was good on TV. No Shannon, but he was good.
Yes, he ain't no me.
We'll give him that. Guys. No mercy. While discussing LeBron in a recent interview, Ray Allen revealed that, quote, there hasn't been a year that's gone by where LeBron hasn't thanked him for his role on the 2013 Miami Heat title team, where Ray made the famous quarter 3 Game 6 win over the Spurs. Yes, I know, Skip remembers that one well. Miami went on to win the finals in 7 after that, getting LeBron his 2nd career championship. Every time I watch that back, it gives me chills. Shannon, How indebted should LeBron be to Ray Allen?
No more indebted than Tom Brady should be to Malcolm Butler or Adam Vinatieri. Ray did his job, Skip. Ray was a three-point marksman. He has the most three-point shots made in NBA history. So he just did his job. And that's what guys do. I mean, I'm looking at it, Skip. If you look at it, if you remember, the Heat was down 10 to start the fourth quarter. LeBron James had 16 points, 2 assists. He accounted for 22 points of the 30 that they scored. He ended the game with 32, 10, and 11, triple-double. Ray hit a shot. There's no denying that. That was the biggest shot in NBA history, given the moment, the circumstances, and what's at stake. That's the biggest shot in NBA history. Just like Malcolm Butler made the greatest defensive play in NBA history, NFL history, given the moment, Skip, given the circumstances, and the game in which he did it in. So, no, I mean, you can do it like, hey, man, Ray, that was big time. I appreciate that. But LeBron was, I know you want to say, well, he missed it, he clanked it, but LeBron was spectacular in the fourth quarter, Skip. He scored 16 of the 30. 16 of the 30. He did that.
So, in my sports watching life, this was the, by far, worst moment ever. I will never recover from it. It shot me right in the heart. It was the first time that I experienced the ultimate jinx factor involving my wife, Ernestine, because I made the unfortunate and fateful call to her during a television break, a commercial break. And what was happening was the Spurs were, and she loves the Spurs as much as I do, the Spurs were up 5 with 28 seconds left. And I called just to check in with her.
No, you called a gloat. You're like,
no,
we got it.
No. I had always told her there's one rule you cannot break, and it's the we got this rule. And as soon as she answered, she said, we got this. And as soon as the words, I heard, as soon as they went in my ear, I just knew. You know how you know when you hear those words that it's over? And I just knew it was going to go terribly wrong. And it did, because Kawhi ends up, he's only like 17 years old. But
don't do that again, don't.
But he misses a killer free throw. But what tore my heart out was that you have to understand, as great as LeBron was in stretches of the fourth quarter, he was not great down the stretch of this game, because with 4 minutes left, he had a charging foul turnover where he just charged. He was just a little out of control. He was clearly charging, and it's a turnover. They were up 3 at that point, and it opened the door for the Spurs to climb back in it. And then with 39.9 seconds left, this is late in the game, he just turned, it's an unforced error turnover where it's very uncharacteristic of him, because he's got a pretty good handle, and he lost the ball. I think Manu stole it, and they were down 2 at the time, and it made me say, aha, maybe we do. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm thinking, okay, we got a shot. Then, to make matters even worse, with 28.2 seconds left, LeBron dribbles down and turns it over again, dribbles it off his foot. And I'm saying, even I'm saying, rooting for the Spurs, what are you doing? You're losing it.
You're building it up.
Okay, well, you're building it up. And then there was one quick exchange, which put Danny Green, now a Philadelphia 76er, but he did help you win your cubic zirconia ring last year in the bubble. Danny Green found himself in Greg Popovich's doghouse forever off one play in which LeBron did hit 1 3 a little earlier than the final sequence. And it happened after he had missed a 3, and Danny Green was guarding LeBron and took off to just go cherry pick a basket.
You tried to snowbird on it.
He wanted to snowbird. And it was a long rebound out to Mike Miller, who then just turned, because LeBron's still standing at the three-point line unguarded, and Mike Miller said, here. And LeBron said, okay, I'll try it again. And he swished that one. And all of a sudden, that got them at least back within shouting distance of the game. So now they're still down 3 with 7.9 seconds left. And LeBron goes up and shoots it, and he just shot it too far, and it did LeBrick off the back iron, and it really LeBricked. But speaking of Coach Popovich, faithfully, he had taken out Tim Duncan. Do I have to watch this again?
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I still don't believe. I mean, no matter how many times you see it, Skip, you cannot believe that Ray is backpedaling.
He's backpedaling and gets his toes across the line. I don't know how he did it. And pushes off just his toes. Yep. And I'm talking about nothing but net.
And he didn't go out of, Skip, you know how many times we see guys and we see the official like, ooh, you're out of bounds. He backpedaled and doesn't even come close to getting out of bounds.
Right.
But he's far enough behind the line.
Right.
And like you said, he swishes it.
And it's not like he's unguarded because Tony Parker's up in him, but Tony Parker's obviously well coached. You don't want to foul that guy. You know, you don't want.
Can you imagine that he hit the three and he get fouled?
God. Can you imagine? That would have done it because that would have ended the game. At least that sent it to overtime. But the point was, it was a long rebound out to Chris Bosh, and we will never know the answer to this, but would Tim Duncan have gone out and fought him for the rebound? Right. I don't know. Tim Duncan's maybe an inch taller than Chris Bosh.
Skip, even if you don't let Duncan get it clean and let Bosh get it clean, maybe if you fight, the ball scrambles around. Time is going off the clock.
Time's going off because it's now we're down to 4-3-2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think what Ray had, it was 1 second, 2 seconds left on the clock when Ray hit that shot.
Tony Parker did get to inbound the ball at the other end and tried some desperation shot.
I think Chris Bosh blocked it. Danny. Did he block Danny Green's shot at the end of the regulation?
No, not that game.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, but that was another.
That might
game.
have been overtime.
I think it was in overtime.
Might have been.
I think it ended the game.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. And some people thought it was foul. I did not think it was.
I didn't think so either.
Okay, so the point was that there's no Tim Duncan in the game, and Chris Bosh could shoot threes, obviously, but I would have kept Tim in there just because he's Tim Duncan. He's Tom Brady. You know, like you keep him in the game.
The mistake people make, Skip, is that they get, we need 3-point defense. It doesn't matter if they miss it if you don't get the rebound and they get the rebound again. How many times, Skip, we say, all we got to do, we got to hope he just misses the free throw. The guy misses the free throw, and then you let him get the rebound. Well, he's done everything you wanted him to do, miss it, but you got to secure the rebound. The possession does not end until you secure the rebound. Okay. Well, you need to get the rebound, Pop.
Okay, but my point about your man LeBron James is he's got 2 turnovers in the last 39 seconds of Game 6 closeout game, and he misses the tying 3, and he gets away with it thanks to a legacy-saving shot by Ray Allen. It just simply saved. Right now, LeBron would be the flip side of Tom Brady. He would be 3-7, right?
And when you think, well, Skip, he's like, and then he told Ray, I got it from here in overtime. He said, I got it from here. I got it from here.
Hey, you got him because my team was shot in the heart.
What you shot in the heart for?
Because
I thought y'all were mentally tough.
Do you realize that there's video you can see of the Heat fans are streaming into the night because they're done with it. It is over.
Yeah.
They're going to get a head start home.
Y'all about to grab the big old Magnum ball, the champagne.
Did you realize the court had been roped off? It had been roped off, and the champagne was on ice.
Yes.
Because you're up. You're the San Antonio Spurs up 5 with 28 seconds left. This is the team that plays the rightest way that's ever been played.
Ray say, give me that.
Can you not get that game home?
Bron and Ray say, give me that.
Come on.
You already know. If you gambling, Skip, look, you gambling, everybody will know what I'm talking about. You never touch the money. You don't burn the money, Skip. You leave the champagne in the back. When y'all started bringing it, had the trophy too. Y'all was winning the trophy out there. I saw the men with the white glove.
Yep.
Jenny had the little thing out there bringing the big trophy out there. Yep. I said, y'all done burnt the money. It's over now.
That's what it is?
Yeah, you burnt the money.
See, it's different than Malcolm Butler. Tom Brady had played great against the Legion of Boom, so it's not like he screwed it up and Malcolm took him off the hook. Well, LeBron was screwing it up and Ray Allen took him off the hook.
He played great in the fourth quarter.
He had his stretches, he had his moments, but still, at the end of the game, it was hide your eyes for LeBron James.
And then what happened? We had to go to Game 7. Now, if you don't mind me asking, did he make amends in Game 7?
Against what was left of the Spurs.
What you mean, what was left?
They should have gone and got some high school team in Miami to play Game 7 because my team was done.
37-12, and then he hit that jumper on Kawhi. Remember he pulled up on Kawhi at the top of the key?
I got it.
Okay.
Way to go.
I would like to settle this once and for all. This is not Ernestine's fault from 2013.
Ultimate jinx.
No more blame for
It's
Ernestine.
on your head, Ernestine.
One more time, Ernestine. Go need you again this year.
The fact
We
that
got
he says
this.
he still can't get over it.
We don't got
This is crazy. No mercy. The Bucs playfully did troll Tom Brady on their social media account, posting his infamous confused fourth down pick from the Bears' loss earlier this year with the caption, "How many playoff games did you win this year, Tom Brady?" I like this. Shannon, did you enjoy this from his own team?
I loved it. I love it, Skip Bayless. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to be able to make fun of yourself and not take yourself too serious. But it's a lot easier to laugh at yourself when you're the last team standing, trust me.
So what I want to know, does this mean that we have permanently retired Shannon Sharpe making fun of Tom Brady for going, I don't know what down it is? He was knocked woozy. I thought he was concussed, but you wouldn't give him any break.
Nope.
And then all he did was go and win the Super Bowl.
He got a break now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Good job, Bucs. Hey.
To go from that moment to this moment.
Yes. Touche, Bucs. Touche.
4 playoff wins.
Yeah, I saw Gronk responding to it as well. I feel like when you win the championship, you can do whatever.
Yeah, whatever you like.
Tom, you can't even be mad. Guys, great stuff today. That's it for Undisputed. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.